organizations. So think about the quasi-crystals and what it is outside of reality, because we're going to be discussing and bringing in our science and our theology and our psychology, philosophy, and bringing it all together to the next level, because that's the next chapter, because we've got to learn it. You got to be it in order to do it, in order to have it. Remember the be, do, have principle, Robert? Did you ever apply that? Be, do, have.
I talk about that all the time. It's what you.
Really?
Yep, all the time. Be, do, have. It was in my book. I talked about it in my book, which was published in 1994.
Yeah, that was when it was big. Street Smart Networking. Now, I haven't read your book, and I didn't even know about you, but I didn't know you'd been through IBI either. So this is a strange conversation we're having. All right, so you covered what I just said, be, do, have, folks. So it's a be, do, have principle. I did not make it up. He's roughly, 6 months older than you? You're born May 52, roughly, or maybe you get upset with me because I said that.
Yeah. That's when I was born. Another person I learned a lot from was Dr. Robert Anthony. And, he talked about, and he gave the analogy, if you go down to the river of life with a thimble, you're only going to get a thimble of water. If you go down with a cup, you're going to get a cup of water. If you go down with a semi, you can, get a semi full of water. I mean, life will give you whatever you want. But one of the other things that he said that really made a difference to me is he said there's certain lessons we're supposed to learn in life. And until you learn that lesson, life will continually trip you up in the lesson you're supposed to learn. So, again, it's how we learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn so that we can move on to the next level.
All right, so we're going to do quasi-crystals, folks. Quasi-crystals, if you're into the new age. Them quasi-crystals. But I've had to learn a lot of languages. Apparently you have too, Robert, and oh, wow. Really? Okay, I guess that's a jet. Yeah, it is. I can hear it. I was like, this big white light came right out of the dark through the windows. Talk about reality, folks. Are we here, or are we just an illusion or a delusion of our own self somewhere else? But nowadays we're saying we're many places in many densities we just can't see through, or it's a bleed over, and the harmonies like music or sound vibrations, we're all particles and waves, and now we're more than that. And we realize, so we're using the golden rule, at least here in America today, because it was on television and the president said it in the news, and actually it was Pence, Mike Pence from Indiana, where two or more gathered in his name, he is there also. But he said it a little different way, where two or more gathered. He didn't say God, he just said also. I don't know that. You can go back and listen to it on the news and on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. So YouTube's the big thing. A lot of people say, I don't listen to TV anymore. I just skip over to YouTube. And I can't believe, but I've gotten into that too. So I use my TiVo. I listen to things. If I want to go back, I'm copying them, and I go back and listen. And these YouTubes, we're going to be there, Robert, where this is going to be out there. Now, we didn't do video. We did audio today, and we may do video in the future. I've noticed I'm the one that's been shy, and I've got some little bitty miniature things because I didn't want to come out because I was working in the UFO Association and CUFOs and J. Allen Hynek kind of stuff, and I didn't really want to be out there. But now that I'm retired, and you've done the same path I have, basically, which is hard to believe. You and I are roughly the same age, 6 months difference. I was born 12/26. I'm a Capricorn. You're a Gemini, you said, for those astrology people. Now, whether y'all believe in all that or not, we don't care. So we're not going to judge. But, Robert, I'm finding this a rather shock and awe kind of situation. I don't know where to go. We've got 35 minutes left, and we started late. Where do you want to go with this last 35 minutes? Because your book, Street Smart Networking, I need to know, can you write another ebook or PDF, or can we do something together since we've crossed the same path? Sometimes I ask people that, and they act like they can do it by themselves, or they'll ask me to do one with them. I can add a chapter. But maybe we should do something starting in May, or maybe we should do a video or every 2 weeks or once a month. I don't know. You got any hits for...
Well, I'm happy to, I've got a lot of different quality people that've got great messages. I'm happy to come back on. I personally don't like video, and I can tell you why.
Okay.
I don't mind people seeing me, but I've got what they call droopy eyes.
Me too. I do too. I didn't know you shared that.
Yeah, and so it looks like my eyes are closed. So, I mean, when I'm on stage, it's no problem, but when I'm just in front of like a video for a long period of time, it looks like I'm there speaking with my eyes closed. I mean, I got no problem being on a video for a short period of time, but to be on a video for a couple hours,
that's a good point. We should do 30 minutes because I have the same problem. So does one of my associates, John Tenayuka in California, where you are. And he was going to show up today, but I'm sure he'll listen because he helps me in California with our articles and bylaws with Barbara Jean Lindsay and Brett Luter out of California. There's 3 people that know each other from the conferences. But he wants to do video production, and he works a lot with Sedona, California, and the Sedona, Arizona people, a lot over there. But different people in my group already you don't know yet, and they don't know you. But isn't that interesting that you and I, and we don't know each other, and we've been in the same groups with the same people. But I don't know what to call that. But people, how many people are walking around, about 8 billion, and you can't know them all. So we've only got so much time, and we've only got so much space. And then if we're going to do videos, but that's what people want. They want it to come to. They want to know what you look like on their phone, so they can trust you. And that doesn't even mean you're going to trust them. But we're doing that because so many people were anonymous, or they were. What do they call them? Not avatar. Yeah, they call them avatars. Remember while we were doing all these domains, we had all these people, and they'd show up. A lot of them would be scammers and spammers. And it got to be after Facebook went and told the government, what's his name? Mark, what's his name? Zuckerberg? What's his name, Robert?
Mark Zuckerberg.
With a Z, Zuckerberg. How could I forget it? Movie and all. Now he's got $5 billion or something, $5 million stuck away to pay. But they got my information, and he had to send me, or his company, Facebook, had to send me something about those people that collected information on me because I had 20 or 30 in my name plus groups, and I still have pages and groups with over 5,000 or whatever. But are you on that, Robert? Did you get one of those? Was it, what I'm talking about? The British people or some company got stuff from him?
Yeah, Cambridge Analytic.
Oh, gosh, you remembered. Looky there, folks. He's not that old yet because I knew what I was talking about, but I couldn't remember what it was. So they got my stuff. So they sent me letters, and I didn't care, but I guess I'm supposed to care in some of the circles. All right, so Cambridge Analytica. How are we going to deal with people that we don't know who they are? Is that what you and I are about, is the old school, the old traditions of trusting people? I seem to trust you, and I've never met you.
Well, first of all, there's 3 different acronyms of fear, and I'll talk about that in a second, because I'm not personally fearful of anything, but as far as if you're looking to do video, Zoom or StreamYard, I like Zoom because if you and I are speaking, the person that's speaking shows up on the video, but you can see everybody else. You know who else is there unless they turn their video off, which is fine. But, when you're talking about fear, and I love the movie The Lion King because it shows it gives you the 3 different areas of fear throughout that movie. And the first one, for those of you that don't remember the movie or might not have seen The Lion King, it's where, Simba, which is the baby lion cub that was just born, and his dad was Mufasa, and his dad's brother Scar wanted to take out Mufasa. He wanted to get rid of him. So he has Simba go into a canyon and ultimately calls the water buffaloes or whoever it was, and they stamp old Mufasa, and he's killed, and Simba thinks that he was responsible. So the first part of fear is false evidence appearing real. He thought he was responsible for his dad's death. So he did the second acronym for fear, which is F everything and ran. He went off and started living a life of Riley, and ultimately one day he gets a message from the hereafter from his dad. He said, "Son, you are more than you have become." So he did the third acronym of fear, which is face everything and rise. He rose to the occasion, went back and confronted his Uncle Scar. But the bottom line is, what's there to be fearful about? If you know that you're showing up with the proper intention, that you're there to make a positive difference, I've got nothing to hide. I know that I'm living my life doing the best that I can and focused on what I can do to make a positive impact and difference in other people's lives. So to me, I don't care about all the other stuff about people collecting my data or any of the other stuff.
Okay, well, that's good. So, and what is this trust that we feel in the see, I have books written about the ascension age and about the future, and I believe in God. That's my choice, but I felt chosen because I have seen where I followed this impression, intuition, or these other realities of me, but I've died in this life, and I've died several times. But, that's clinical. I came back, but I wanted to come back. But people that know about this ascension age and, everything we built after 12/21/12 and all the people that were in the different groups and tribes and the powers of light and the light workers and the truth seekers, we all had our own language and we all came together and we've created this, and we were all doing these things, channeling our higher selves and working with our superconscious and, learning with those we trust, those we don't, those that brought in a lot of people in the spirit world. They wanted to talk to people on the other side, but some of them they trusted and some they didn't. So it's just like in the afterlife or in the fourth and the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. We do 10 dimensions. We do 10 densities. We're going to teach a lot of things that people know or relate to with words, Robert, and especially with groups you and I have been with various names and symbols, companies and unincorporated associations and organizations. And, the government here, internationally, we've been accepted English as the business language, and we're doing that right now. But you're a strategist, and I've asked you to help me with this ACO Club because right now it's just something I pay for as a website on GoDaddy. And I've been with them since, helped him back when he was in the basement and started and then training people. But by the time I was driving a truck, 98, and going here and there and yonder, and especially over in Phoenix, Arizona. But something brings us together, Robert. It's got to be source, a lot of people call it, or that is everything. The theory of everything. We use numbers, symbols, sounds. We've got something. Do you use the word metaphysics at all, or what do you use? Because we don't know what to call this. I mean, there's all kind of symbols.
I use the word metaphysics. I think it's synchronicity. I mean, to me, there are no accidents. There was a reason why we met, and again, the more that we get to know one another, will determine where we want to go together, one way or the other. I see some bright things as far as the things that we can do together. I'm on this planet to make a difference. To make a positive difference in other people's lives, and I know that that's what you're about. And again, I love the word synergy, which is 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2; it equals 11, or more than that. I mean, again, it's how when people come together and you work synergistically with somebody else that you can create something much more significant and impactful than just what somebody can create by themselves.
Yeah, but it's so hard to make teams, and I told you good luck with that because I keep having people tell me good luck with that because everybody is telling me, I love you, TJ, and I want to, I help you with your radio, or they needed something from me. So, and I still love Janet Lesson, who's got Aquarian Radio, and I love Tommy Hawksblood that's doing the StreamYard thing, Hawksblood 1 out of he says he'll always be with my ACO Club, and he's joined my Patreon. So, folks, if you like